Hey guys,
Hey,
how's it going?
not great.
Well, let me help.
Can I start?
Yeah, sure. How's it going?
So I'm stuck on calibration. I've been beating my head against the wall for hours. I've done everything I can possibly do to verify the frame is level. I've got laser level there and it's like spot on. I've got the top beam marked dead center, spot on. I put my chains there. I can't exactly tell if the sprockets are aligned to one another. I mean, I don't know what the recommended way of doing that is, but I don't have, they move in such tiny increments, it's impossible for me to know. So by eye, they are aligned. They're equal on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I mean,
Or the
vertical, like 12 o'clock position.
Oh, okay.
But it says 12 o'clock, but you can move it in 0.1 millimeter increments and the sprocket barely moves. So it's really hard to tell. But I got it spot on the center of the beam. When I drop it down, it is not going, it's not running center at all.
Okay.
I repeated this several times last night. And then I finally counted the number of chain links from one sprocket to the center. And it's equal at the top. But after I drop it down, I was dropping it about 3/4 of the wasteboard, so 36 inches or so. I had an extra link and a half on the right side. The right side is always running out more than the left when I slack the chain.
Okay. So the motor, so the left motor is just moving like a little bit more as it's like moving down to the center. So when
the right motor is moving more.
The right motor, okay.
Because it's letting out more on the right side. So I've got the laser on the beam and I'm just watching it on the laser as it goes down and it's just slowly drifting left because the right is letting out more slack.
Is it doing that in the cuts too, or in the calibration part of it?
I don't know because I haven't tried any large cuts. I've only really done one cut and the cut didn't work well for a number of reasons. So I just went back to ground zero and I was like, I need to get this calibration right on before I try and cut anything. So right now I'm just back to calibrating. So I don't know.
Okay. So it sounds like the chain, if your chain length in one of those motors is going, like the motors aren't going at the exact same speed, then that could be something with that motor. And it could be a problem with that motor not feeding the same rate as the other one, especially if you line the sprockets up.
Yeah, so how can I verify that? Is there there's stepper motors, they should have feedback. Is there some way to read the code and see how much both of them have traveled?
I don't know the G-code command to do that. But what we can do is if you want, like Chris or I can set up like a time and we'll email you and see if we can figure out a time to get with that, because I don't know the G-code command to get the feedback for the motor to figure that out. But if I can get your email, I'll email you.
Sure.
I'll help you get to the bottom of it.
Sure. I will just. Is there a chat? I'll just put it in the chat here.
Yeah, you can send it. You can send like a private chat message if you want.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah, and then I'll email you and we'll see if we can get to either it's the motor, because if you're measuring the chains and the sprockets and one of the motors isn't moving like it should, then
the
sounds like that one of the motors just isn't moving the distance that it needs to be moving, and one of them is, and it's off by that tiny bit, which is then making it kind of slack down.
That's what I thought.
The motors can go out. Sometimes the motors, like they can be a little inconsistent or something like that. So that's kind of what my gut's telling me. But let me follow up though with you and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, because I don't know any other way to check it, right? For a while, I was like, okay, I'm going to run it up and down the board and I'll just make 0.1 millimeter adjustments until when it goes up and down, it's at the same point, it's following the line. But no, there was no point where I could get it to do that no matter what. And it's, it's level as my tools will allow it to be. I don't know the recommended accuracy is, but a 4-foot level shows it as level, and the laser level shows it as level. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it's level, then that's good, because it can be like you can get down into like under a millimeter in accuracy, but it takes a while to get it like kind of tuned into that. But absolutely. So yeah, we'll follow up with you and see if we can see if it's the motor or if there's something else that we can try and make reverse. For
okay.
sure. Yeah, and I'll follow up with you like as soon as this is done. I'll send you an email and we'll figure it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, Travis. All right.
So hey everybody, this is Casey. I got a quick question.
Sure, hey Casey.
If I can. So I've been trying to cut cabinet frames, the whole 9 yards out of the full 4x8 sheet. If I want more accuracy on the edges of the boards, top, bottom, left, and right, X and Y, basically, I know I need skirts on the unit, but do I get better accuracy if I have a 12-foot top beam, or does the 10-foot top beam work just fine?
So you can do the 10-foot. The accuracy shouldn't matter with the distance of the top beam, but what you can try to do is to move your nail on the top to try to. Are you having trouble like getting all the way down to the bottom corners with the 10-foot, or?
No, the accuracy of the cut.
Okay, so that shouldn't be with the 12-foot beam. Won't change the accuracy. That can just change the getting all the way to the bottom and give you a little bit more space, because 12-foot beam and 15-foot chains, it can give you a little bit more space. But you can also gain that from moving the nails to the edges of the 10-foot beam, and you can get down there for space. So for the accuracy of it, like in the bottom, is it kind of drifting in the bottom corners, or?
Yeah, I start losing. I mean, I know it ain't much. It could be 1.5 millimeters off, but when you're talking about a large cabinet at 33 inches, 1.5 millimeters, it ends up being quite a bit over a longer distance, right? All the cabinets I make I'm trying to use basically finger joints, dog bones, and I need good accuracy in those long runs. I think the biggest thing is just getting an entire cabinet, a base counter or an upper cabinet made out of one sheet of plywood. But to do that, I need to make sure that accuracy is spot on.
Yeah, exactly. Like flat pack type of stuff. You cut them all out of it. So, are you using Makerverse 1.1.2?
I'm using the original. Yeah.
Okay. So if you wanted to upgrade to 1.1.2, you can do what's called edge calibration, and it'll kind of walk you through all the different steps, and you'll measure your chain links, and then it'll go to actually measuring the edges of your frame. And we found that it tends to be more accurate on going through that. So it'll move as you kind of progress through the different tabs when you load. Then it'll move and you'll measure from each one of the corners, and then you'll cut in each one of the corners and then measure the cut. And that can help your precision too, especially on those edges. We found that helps a lot. So if on 1.1.2, if you go to makerverse.com, it's still technically in beta, so you can download it from GitHub, and you'll have to flash your firmware to upgrade to it. But I've heard a lot of the people that move onto it, and I've moved onto it too, and I'm impressed with it. It's awesome. So I think that could help you get that accuracy solved.
Is there good instructions on flashing the firmware as well?
There are. I haven't made, or I don't think Chris has made the video yet, but we're going to do that in the next week or so, because it's pending in the app stores right now to be released in the Mac and the Apple stores. So that's when we're going to kind of make all that content and all that stuff. But we do have the instructions are on Makerverse on the GitHub. It'll show you how to flash Arduino. So have you flashed an Arduino before? Okay,
no,
so I can send you the instructions on how to do it. So I have all the instructions. So if you want to send me your email, then I'll send the instructions on how to flash your firmware, and that'll walk you through those steps too.
Okay, I'll just put my email in the chat over here.
Okay, yeah, sweet. Yeah, you can say private message, and then you won't share it with anybody, and then I'll email you.
Okay.
Good morning. You're observing today. I'm considering buying the M2, And so I just wanted to observe your Zoom meeting this morning and see what everybody's opinion was on it.
Yeah, right on. What kind of stuff do you want to make?
Well, we've been in the furniture business for over 40 years, so we're just going to kind of take it on from there.
Yeah. So like making cabinets and like what kind of furniture? Just anything.
Well,
you're looking to make
we've always specialized in reproduction of period English and French stuff.
Nice.
But I'm kind of retiring, and my son's wanting to go with. He wants to start building guitars and doing some stuff like that. And I saw some of your videos and YouTubes on that, and
yeah, Tim Sway
was interested in giving it a try.
Right on. Yeah. So have you tried CNC before?
I have not. I've always, this is crazy because I've been in the shop, my shop, we've worked with hand tools. I did an English apprenticeship where we didn't use machinery. We used hand tools, and I've had that practice for 40 years in my shop, and I still hand rub every piece of furniture to this day. So it's, like I say, I'm trying to retire, but my son's wanting to build guitars and do some other things. And I said, well, maybe this would be a good, addition to the shop.
I mean, that can be a big part of the workflow for sure.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, I think a lot of people, like I have actually, one of my guys over here is working on wood. I have them, we cut certain pieces, we'll use our Maslows. So we have a bunch of Maslows, but I still have them with certain parts. I have them do everything by hand. And so people think, oh, okay, well, it's, you're going to all machines. But honestly, I use the machines to enhance our handwork. But I think at the end of the day, when we're doing our fabrication processes, I'm still big on doing things by hand. Even before I go to 3D printers and stuff like that, I have the foil. So I think honestly, in a lot of ways, it actually will get your guys or your sons, stuff like that, working more hands-on with things more than they'll realize, because you also have to learn the machines. But they've been amazing. We couldn't afford shop bots and other things like that. And so and there's a couple other open source Maslows, but Maker Made's been they've been wonderful to us, and the machines have been wonderful for us. So it takes a little bit to learn, but once you learn it, they're outstanding.
Okay, that sounds good. My son is really good with computers, and so that I think is what he's looking at too.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not a magic robot. So there's still some like finishing and some stuff that has to go with it, just like 3D printing or anything. So it's just like one more tool that you can use and utilize. And that's what Drew does at his workshop. They work on prototyping and making parts and things like that. So it's just like one more thing that they have. So
okay, it sounds great. I just wanted to kind of sit in and observe and see what questions people had and what people think about the machine. And we were, getting ready to drop the ball here pretty soon, and just
awesome.
I'll show you my setup real quick. Let me walk I have a Zoom card to keep in our shop. So we're rearranging some of our shops. So our warehouses are even more crowded right now than usual. But so I have our building segregated into a bunch of different we call it warehouses. That way, woodworking is a little dusty. If you didn't know that.
So as Drew's moving that over there, does anybody else have any questions? Mia or Adam or Don?
So that's another one we're trying to get set there. So.
Hey guys, this is Adam here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a little dim, but I can.
Sorry, I'm in my car. I do have a quick question. I did my initial calibration last night, and the one thing that I could not get to work at all was my Z-axis motor. And believe it or not, when I was trying to raise or lower the Z-axis motor, it was actually activating the left motor.
Okay. So have you, which version of Makerverse are you using? Are you using 1.1.6 or 1.1.2?
I'm not entirely certain, and unfortunately I can't check right now.
That's okay. Did it ask you to create a workspace when you opened up Makerverse?
Sorry, say that again?
Did it ask you to create a workspace when you opened up Makerverse?
No, it did not.
Okay, so that's 1.0.6 then. So before you move your motors around, you want to home it in the center. It's on 1.0.6. So you'll home it before you jog the sled to the center. You want to home it, because if it doesn't have home, it doesn't have a 0 point. So the motors get confused on where it's going. So you want to set home and then jog it to your center and then set your home in the exact center of your wasteboard. So that's probably why the motors are moving weird.
Okay. So I need to update the software first.
You don't have, you can continue to use 1.0.6 if you want. You can get, you can upgrade to the new version, but you have to flash your firmware to do that.
Okay. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem. I already did that once. At least I think I did.
Okay. So like when you got it, you flash the firmware?
I mean, yeah, when I initially, I downloaded the latest firmware from your GitHub website and put that onto the board.
Well, awesome. Yeah. So then if you want to try version 1.1.2, so you can go to makerverse.com. I'll put it in the chat here.
Okay.
And it's still in beta for like probably another 2 weeks. I've been saying it's in beta for like months now, because it keeps getting kicked back from the app stores for small things. It's pending to be in the Mac and Apple store, in the Mac store and the Windows store. So as soon as it gets out of that, then we're going to release all the other things, the information that we have about it. But you can find instructions on makerverse.com to go and download 1.1.2, and then it will walk you through all those little steps and all those parts. So you won't have to worry about that.
Okay, I'll give that a shot, and I'll probably see you next Thursday.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll be here. Yeah, and you can always send a message to the support@makermade.com, and we'll get back with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Good luck. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody need any help? Anybody working on any fun projects?
I just got mine, and and I'm just building the frame right now. So
Awesome.
I don't have any questions yet.
Cool. Yeah.
I'll have some.
Okay. How's it been going with the frame build?
Well, I'm building it out of metal, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
taking a little longer. I'm not too bright. I figure why
Hey,
not?
none of us are.
A lot extra time to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So are you doing, is it a standalone frame or are you putting it on the wall?
No, it's a standalone. You know, I don't have any wall space in my shop, so I have to be able to move it around. So
Nice. Well, right on. Yeah, well, the biggest thing is just making sure when you build a frame that it's level. So the top beam is level and the wasteboard is level. So with the metal, that's a little bit easier to do. You just want to make sure that those are level with each other and the ground, and that'll help a lot.
Well, the top beam will be adjustable. It'll be on struts that I can move up and down and in and out, and so, and then it'll have wheels, but it'll also have levelers too, so that I can level it once I get it in position.
Yeah, and that's a fun thing about having it as a kit. You can build it however you want and build it all kinds of different ways. So that's part of the fun, getting the robot and working on it. So awesome.
I got one quick question. It talks about the offset from the top of the chain to the top of the wasteboard.
Yes.
Is it from the top of the chain or from the bottom of the top of the chain?
So it's from the top of the top. So it's like as it comes off the sprocket to the top of the wasteboard.
Okay, and the way I'll do it, my sprockets will go over, not under. So they'll go from, if you're looking at the right one, it'll go up over the top and down, because I'll have counterweights for tension.
Okay.
And so and in the instructions it said when you measure the distance between, you measured in the 8 and 4 o'clock position. But if it goes over the top, is that just opposite? Is it the 2 and like 10 position, or?
It should still be 4 and 8, because your motors are level with each other, right? They're not they're not at 45 degrees.
They are level with each other.
Okay. Yeah, then it'll be 4 and 8. It'll still be 4 from the 4 and 8 position.
Okay, so it doesn't matter which way the chain goes then.
That no, because it's going from the top and from the bottom, and as long as it's from that 4 and 8, then you'll be good.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Does anybody else have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm Mia. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I don't have one yet, but I've been looking at them. But I'm just wondering, like, I got a Glowforge and I do a lot of laser cutting.
Right on,
And I was wondering if anybody cuts acrylic, and then just like how I know it's obviously not super user friendly, like I'm gonna have to learn, and there's gonna be a curve in that, just like with the Glowforge, because I'm a nurse. I don't do, all that coding and stuff, but I did learn how to like make SVGs, and I make a lot of stuff for weddings, and I wanted to make bigger like name signs. And then I've also been messing with like LED neon lights. So I did talk to Scotty B's LEDs, and he was talking to me about Maker Made. There's actually a person in Charlotte who has one that he wants to sell because he got a bigger CNC. And then he would deliver it with the frame, and obviously without the router. But I'm like, let me get on here and talk to a couple of people. What do I need to look for? Is there anybody on here right now that actually cuts acrylic? And, just questions like that, I guess.
Yeah. So, is it a Maslow or an M2? Do you know?
He has a Maslow, but he said he bought the upgrade kit for it, so he does have the Z axis.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the M2. So I would say with the frame build and everything, it depends what they're selling it for, but that can be a good deal to kind of get started, because that's kind of the biggest part is
Right.
building the frame and building the machine itself and like getting it all ready. That can be a big part of the setup, and then it's diving into calibration. And I'm not gonna lie, it is complicated. It's it's a fun like DIY kit that we got to dive into and kind of figure it out and troubleshoot and work with it, because you build it yourself. It's a like cutting robot that you can build yourself. So it takes a little bit of time to get going, but once you can get going, you can absolutely cut big stuff. So yeah, you can cut acrylic with like a straight bit and cut acrylic out. I've cut 1/4 inch acrylic before, and I know that Drew, I'm not sure if he's at his camera, he's cut acrylic before too. And you can cut that out as well. You can cut any material that you can cut with a router. I haven't cut metal, but I know people have cut like thin metal before too. And I've seen some videos of that. And we also have in development a laser module to be able to laser etch on space. So to be able to laser etch on like a 4x8 space is something that I'm super excited about. That we're planning on coming out with, is we're kind of in the final stages of development on that I am pumped about, because then you could do like those giant signs and engravings and stuff just like you would in your Glowforge, only 4x8 space.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm like, I gotta really think about it. I didn't think it would just like fall into my lap. I just wanted to know if somebody was like in the area with one so I could like pick their brain and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I talked to you about it. And he's like, oh, actually, I'm selling this. And I was like, oh. But then I'm like, okay, well, how much has he used it? Like, but then if I get my own router, does that matter? Like, and then the frame build was a big part of why I was hesitant on getting this. But then I'll have a frame, so. Just a couple things to think about,
because it takes up some room, and the router, like that's going to be several $100 to get that going. Like you can go with we have a whole list of routers that we have in our user manual, that have like the I can even post that here in the chat for you, so you can see. And we've got all those different ones that work with it. So you can get like I use a DeWalt, the 611, but that one is out of stock in a lot of places right now. It's really hard to get.
I was going to ask you, is the Makita okay as a replacement, because the 611 is not available?
Yes, you can use the Makita. One thing about that is there we go, and there's assembly guide, and this actually has instructions for 1.1.2 in it. This assembly guide that I'm uploading right now. So the Makita router needs to have a like a jig, like a 3D printed assembly. Like it's basically to make it smaller, because it's a 71 millimeter clamp, and the Makita is like 65 or something like that, so it fits in there. So it's basically a collet for the router itself that can like hold it inside of there. And I can make one and print one and send one to you if you want to get it, or if you know someone with a 3D printer, then they can 3D print the file too. And then you can use the Makita. You can use the rigid router too. You just need a like a bigger router clamp for that. So you need the 91.
I tried to buy the 3D printer, but it was out of stock.
It is out of stock right now. We've got more on the way. We've got more on the way. But yeah, if you want to send me your email, I can. If you want to put your email in the chat, like I can send you a 3D printed model of.
Well, yeah, let me find out that, you know, how soon I get this done. The DeWalt might be back in stock before that happens.
Cool. Yeah, just let me know.
All right,
and for sure, I help you out. So yeah, Mia, that the router is a big part of it, is making sure you get the right router. And that'd be the expense that you'd have to be watching out for. So how much is he selling the used one for?
$800.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, with the frame already built, I think that's a pretty good deal.
So $800 with the frame, and then he'd deliver it. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's really like maybe like 20 minutes from me. But yeah, I'm looking at the router. So I just wanted to get on here and see, like, are they really on here every week? Will you guys be helpful if I need, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm pretty good at figuring stuff out, but you know, this is a beast for me, you know, my little Glowforge.
Yeah, I mean, even the Glowforge, you know, it's got its troubleshooting with it as well. So if you've gone through the Glowforge too, you're coming in it with a little bit more experience too. So yeah, we're here to help. Usually it's Chris or I that are in these trainings, and then we have our support too. You can always email us at support@makermade.com, and it might take us a little bit to get to you because we're a small team, but we will get to you.
Well, definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
I've got one more question.
Yeah, what's up, Michael?
On in putting the frame to the sled, there's 15 or so, 18 little tiny screws.
Mm-hmm.
What size are those? Because they weren't all in the bag.
They weren't. Well, we can send you some, but you can use any small screw. That'll work. If you want to send me that, we can make sure that we get them to you. But how many were you missing some?
I'm missing 6, yeah.
Okay.
But I got a whole bunch of the other thumb
okay.
Things, but I mean, I could get them. I just wondered if they were number 6s or number 8s or number.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
You know.
Yeah, if you wanted to take it to you know, like Home Depot or Lowe's and compare it and just get another small one,
nice one of those places. But anyway.
Yeah, like a hardware store. Because I don't know off the top of my head. I don't want to tell you wrong. I mean, it's 6, but I'm not sure.
All right.
Do you want? I mean, we can send you some if you send us an email.
All right, I'll do that. I'll send you an email.
Okay, yeah, support@makermade.com, or you can put it in the chat.
I'll just send you one straight. Support.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and just say that you need 6 of those small screws, and we're gonna.
I was just waiting to see if there's anything else I needed before I sent it off. You know, I want to make sure. I also am gonna need some more chain.
To get like longer chains.
Yeah, I've got a 12-foot bar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you'll need the 15-foot chains.
Well, or one small piece of chain and put it together.
I would be careful with that.
Just come on now. I've made chains all my life. I have a chain press and everything.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah, so if you've done chains like bicycle chains and stuff, then you'll be good to go. Yeah. Yeah, you just want to make sure that the link is strong.
Right.
But it sounds like you're experiencing that. So
what is the difference? I hear you talking about the 10-foot crossbar and the 12-foot crossbar. What's the difference? I noticed the difference in the chain lengths to order and
so it's kind of a preference that different people have for like the distance and where they can move their sled around. So having a longer top beam allows you to have a bigger cut area. So you can make a skirt around the outside of your wasteboard, and with the 12-foot beam and the 15-foot chains, you can go all the way to the very, very edge of a 4x8 space if you have like a skirt around it, so you can give it like a little bit more space. But I know that you can move the chain, which is what or the nail, which is what I've done, that you can still get to the edges. But if you don't have a skirt, like I have to watch mine and like hold it down as it's moving around to the very edge and cutting around the very edge of it. So just having that longer top beam and that longer chain just gives you like a bigger cut area that a lot of people just really love, having that larger space and the bigger chains.
Okay. So it sounds like it'd be worth setting it up that way to begin with.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, so our standard frame is a 10-foot top beam that comes with 11-foot chains. So if you want to get the bigger chains, just let us know when you order, and we can make sure that we can get them to you.
Okay, thank you.
You can get them on our website. Yeah, you bet.
There's Drew.
Hey, man.
Hey, sorry guys.
Do you have any 12-foot top beams?
Do I have any what?
Do you have any 12-foot top beams, or do you use all 10?
No, we're using 10s.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, because we were going to do this one with 12 foot. This one I still haven't rebuilt yet. I've got to rebuild this one. I just haven't had a chance to do that, but no, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to jump in and out. My son just ripped his power cord out of his laptop and ripped the socket out, so I'm resoldering it while he's in the middle of class right now, so he can stay on class. So bear with me.
Yeah, it's sure, man. Good luck. Yeah.
I'll be right back. But no, I'm not. But this one we're going to convert to a 12 foot.
Okay.
Because I got 2 guys that I'm getting trained. I've been trained last week and this week, and I'm having them learn the mass outs in and out. So
awesome.
What do y'all normally cut out on yours, Drew?
All kinds of things. So we're designing a product for a client that's basically a specialized doghouse. There's some things I can't give away the information on, but then we have other parts where I may fabricate like. So we do the prototype. So I've done some different. We did jigs. Sometimes we'll make jigs for. We're doing some metalworking for some pieces or whatever. We've done decorations. Done foam. So we did one of our friends for an event. They needed a big like backdrop of the city. So we used some of the purple foam sheets that you buy at like the hardware store. Yeah. Installation sheets, and they're like $10 or whatever. And we just carved out designs in that, and then made those a big, like, it's actually on the wall in here, out of foam. We've done all kinds of different things with them. Okay. So I bought so my first one I got, actually, my wife asked me for Father's Day. She's like, what do you want for Father's Day? Like 2 years ago. And I was like, a Maslow. I want to Maker Made so bad. So that was where I got my first one. And then like so. Yeah, we've kind of expanded. So we've got 22,000 square feet of craziness, but it goes all the way down there too. But it's most of the stuff we do is fabrication stuff, but a lot of it was my personal stuff that over the years, my wife has finally like kicked me out of the house and made me get a warehouse. So, but I love the Mazdas. They're fun. And the thing is, you can customize them. So if your son's an IT guy, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with them. Like right now, we're going to test some cool lasers for them for the guys over at Maker Made. There's some, I want to turn one into a CNC plasma because I've got a plasma table over there. I was like, man, if I did a metal back, I could do a metal back on that and just have the splash go down. My other plasma tables didn't have water tables. So they're just cool. You can customize them and do what you want. And with these machines, like any machines, you really get to know their personalities. So with this stuff, it's important. I think you get to learn the personalities of the machines, and with this, you're building them, doing everything else. So you really like feel at one with the machine, which is nice.
Yeah, like we're gonna rip it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're talking about handcrafting things, it's kind of, you're still doing machine in ways, but you're also handcrafting that machine. So you know that machine in and out. And you'll have your times where you'll be frustrated. You'll get things happen. It's with all machines. Doesn't matter what it is. But once you start figuring out stuff like that, it's really awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Corey, so you just joined. Can I help you with anything?
Hi. Yeah, I'm in Fairbanks, Alaska. I just got my Maslow going last night. I made my first cut.
Awesome.
And so Drew was talking about, so the last guy that was talking was saying he was using it for metal templates. Are you cutting that out and then using that with the hand plasma cutter?
I think Drew just walked away. I have not.
Oh, okay.
I have not cut with metal on the M2, so I'm not.
Sorry, not directly, but cut use this to cut plywood and then put the plywood up against the metal and then plasma cut it. Have you heard of people doing that?
I think that's how Drew is usually utilizing it as like a template. But I haven't used a plasma cutter either, so I'm not sure about the templates on like plasma cutting and working through that. But if you can make a template and you can use like a guide, and the plasma cutter uses a guide, then you could absolutely create like a wooden guide that it could follow around for sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like he was doing.
Yeah. Is that what you're planning on doing? Do you have a plasma cutter?
Yeah, it's over there. It's a little guy, cut
Awesome.
50. So.
Yeah, so you can just kind of like trace it out and use it as kind of for the larger like metal cut designs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be awesome. So how did it go with the setup and everything?
Pretty good. My bricks are out frozen in the yard, and I can't get any at Home Depot. They don't have it right now, so I gotta go take a torch out and melt some
Like
ice
prime
with
up.
my drill.
How cold is it right now?
I think it's about 15 below
Oh
Fahrenheit.
man. Yeah. It's like
so
40 degrees here.
Okay.
I'm in Arkansas, so.
Arkansas. Okay. Right. I saw that on the box. It said made in Arkansas or designed in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So this was my first cut sheet, and I had,
Oh,
it's
nice.
probably a little hard to see. I didn't get my cut depth right, but it wasn't quite coming out at 90 degrees on a couple of these that were away from the center.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's very critical that it's homed at the 0 point of the board.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to measure
otherwise
your
it
waist
doesn't
forward.
know.
Yes. So
It doesn't know where it is.
You don't want to just the default is to be in the center of like a 4x8 board, but I've never seen a 4x8 board that's exactly 4x8. So you want to measure yours and get it in the exact center and mark it to make sure you always home it right in the center, so you know where it's going from, in like the center of your space. And with that Z-axis calibration too, that's something that's in the new version of Makerverse that's improved a lot, to help get that Z-axis calibration like up and down on version 1.1.2. That can help you like really home that in.
Okay.
And it depending on which version that you have, if you want to update to that new version, you just flash your firmware and then you can use that new version of Makerverse. And you can just go, it's in the chat, just Makerverse, makerverse.com, and you can go to it.
Okay. Sounds good.
I've got another question, if I could.
Yeah.
I really don't, not that I care, but I don't want to use bricks. Is there an advantage to having the bricks hang down? Does that affect the way the sled performs?
It does. Yeah. So you have to have weight. You need at least.
Well, no, I know the weight, but does it have to protrude down from the sled?
It needs to be weighted down. So you can use a different type of weight or a different type of thing, but it needs to be at least 5 pounds on each side just to hold the router down, because as the router's cutting it, the sled will bounce.
No, I understand that, but the leverage of the bricks themselves hanging below.
Oh, so like if you want to put them on top?
Well, no, I mean, does it matter? Is that leverage something that enhances, or is it just the weight of the bricks that you care about?
So it's holding it down for gravity. And the reason that the bricks are on the bottom half of the sled,
I understand
that angle.
But right
so
here,
that is the advantage. The answer is yes.
a leverage, the bricks have leverage because they're on a 15-degree bank. If let's say the bar was 2 feet long and weighed exactly the same, it would have a tendency to lift the top.
It could, if it was longer.
So what I'm saying, is it just the weight we want, or do you need a little bit of leverage to raise the top, or is it just the weight we want?
Well, so if you wanted to have something and put it like a different type of weight on there, you can experiment with it. You would just need to do, just like you said, to make sure that it doesn't lift it or to move it if it was weighted down. And we found just that bricks, since the original Maslow design, just work the best because they're small and compact and they're heavy. So they keep the whole sled and everything together, pretty close together, on it to kind of hold it down. So
But,
Yeah, you can experiment with different things if you want. If you have some different like
well, lead weighs more than bricks.
yeah, exactly. So like if you wanted to put something on there, you absolutely could. Just watch it and make sure that it doesn't it like you said, it's not
Right.
kind of pulling your sled up.
Right. So I need 10 pounds of weight. Is that what you're saying?
10 pounds is good. Yeah. That's what you're shooting for. Yeah. So, and you can do more if you want, and you can experiment with like a little bit less, but usually it's around 10 pounds, like probably 10 to 12 pounds is
the longer the chain, like that would an additional say pound affect it 12 over a 10-foot top rail?
I'm not sure about the geometry of that, but I don't think so. It shouldn't.
Okay.
Because it's still weighted down on the sled because it's holding it down
Right.
with gravity to hold your router down as it's cutting. So
I was just wondering if slacking the chain or
I think it would still be okay because it's still as long as your sled is weighted down, I think it'd be okay. But if you wanted to experiment, you could add more or less weight because I know some people that use like I've seen little lead weights that people have put on the bottom and kind of like made little pockets on them and stuff to hold on there, or like actually just hold weights. So to have like 5-pound weights that like barbells, and you can put those on the sides too and like hold it down with those as well. So yeah, you can kind of experiment and see what's going to work for you for sure.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, and that's the fun thing about being a kit. You can just kind of experiment with what's going to work outside of the standard design. Yeah, the big thing is just making sure that it's at that 15-degree angle. That's the big thing. To make sure that it's held at that angle as it moves around. So does anybody else have any more questions?
Next week,
yeah,
I'll have more questions.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right, have a good one. See ya.
Okay, you too.
Thanks, Drew. Really like the design.
Awesome. I'm glad you like
really
it.
Nice
yeah.
parts.
So yeah, I'm glad you dig it. And if you jump in like next week or the week after, like I'd love to see the type of plasma cut stuff that you've made because I don't have experience with that, and I'd love to see like what you made. So yeah, if you want to hop in, yeah, join us.
All right. Well, thanks. Talk
You
to
bet.
you later.
Thank you.
You bet. Good luck, Mia. Hope you decide to get it.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
You bet. Bye.
Are you all slept through?
Yep, just me. Everybody got help. And everybody took off. How's it going, man?
Good. Hey, I need to get with you too. We don't do it in this call, but I need to. Oh, hey, I'm going to be loud.
I couldn't hear you. What'd you say? Move me around.
I'm turning this into the retail shop.
Yeah.
So I want to get this area set up nice, and I want to get I want this to be just this spot to be a what do you call it?
Like a showroom?
A little maker space shop where people can come in. And I think so. This is what I was set up. So I was set up like a little one of the models right there, and then I need to get one of the 3D printers from you. I need to buy a 3D printer from y'all here soon.
Get that invoice? I sent you an invoice. Did you get it?
Good.
With the discount.
I probably did. I need to look for it then. That's what I was looking for. I've been really bad on my email. We've been trying to catch up. So
it's fine.
New guys have been training and stuff like that. I try to get them. Now I'm trying to get them trained on the Mazda's and the machines I've got the two new shop guys that are going. And so Gaston's been with us for a while, and so I want to get this all set up in here. That's really cool.
Awesome.
And I want them to start making stuff for the shop. So I really want to get them pushing stuff onto the on Kale's Marketplace. I think it's gonna be huge. So
great. Yeah. So let me know.
I've been trying. I also had our accountant.
I know you've been crazy busy. So
yeah. Here. I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt.
We're just shooting the breeze.
Hey guys.
How can I help you, man?
Oh, I just ordered my Maslow, so
awesome.
I'm trying to get some ideas for building a rack. I like to build that kind of stuff, so I have French cleats on my wall, but I don't know if I want to take up 10 feet of precious French cleat space. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna put it and stuff. So
I have mine mobile. I can show you how I do. I put mine on cast.
Mobile one.
Yeah, can I see yours?
I remember you were talking about that last week. You were talking about that, Matt. So yeah, Drew has his that he can wheel around. So yeah, he'll kind of show you.
Okay.
As we walk through his shop.
Sorry, if you see, let me turn the pill up. If you see all the hospital carts, I have a bunch of hospital carts that are from ventilators.
Yep.
And so all I did is what do you call it? I took the casters off those because they're really nice casters. Okay. So, and then I just built the traditional frame, the original version frame. And then let's see if the camera will follow me. And then I put these casters on here. Let's see, there it goes.
Okay.
And then so I put the nice casters on. I'm following the old frame style.
Yep.
Just because it's easier for the casters to see it. So I use a Facebook portal because it's got a good little automated camera.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how I do it because then we can move them around. So we've got it so I can move things around, and I keep everything on medical carts so that way we can, if I need to make room in this area, I can move things around. I can also have standing desks. Makes it nice for our little shop things. And those you can get.
Those medical carts look good too. I built a standing desk that I'm using right now out of plywood, but it was with traditional tools and stuff.
These I lucked out. These were the hospital was changing some stuff around. So the new ones I have actually have tool trays under them. It's for all the meds and stuff.
Oh, nice.
But they also have built-in lithium-ion batteries.
Yep.
So they have built-in UPSs and they're electronic lift, raise, and lower.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. So you might look around and see what you can find at the hospitals because the hospitals I got these for like $10 a pop.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. With the batteries and everything on.
And then you store your wood behind. Do you have like a place to store the wood behind the movable frame where you can put the plywood? And
we do. So we do on these. So I have different.
Can save you some space too, Matt. Is like having it movable. You can kind of stack all the wood behind it.
Yeah, I
like mine has to sit on the carport, which isn't ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we set up different racks right now. I guess I haven't moved out from here, but a lot of times what I'll do is we have the wood stacked back here.
Yeah.
Which makes it nice.
Okay.
And Yeah, it just makes it super easy. I move things around. You could mount the computer to it too. And then I just put, I need to tighten this one, but I just put the little PVC pipes up there to keep the cords out of the way.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
they're a lot of fun. If you like building your frames and stuff like that, you're gonna have a blast with these because it is a lot of fun to tinker with and make your own setups and all that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. That's one of the main things I'm looking forward to. So, but I don't have a ton of space, but I like your mobile racks there. I just don't I don't know how I'd do that. So excuse me, we'll see. I gotta it's gonna arrive here pretty soon. I wasn't expecting it to ship so fast. So
Awesome.
I gotta start making it. So
I would look online on the forums too. There's a bunch of people who have different frames they've made. They've made metal ones, they've made other ones. And so you can actually do these in a way where you just have it fold up against the wall when you want it. You can have a hook, and then you just have the do the little pop down legs that pop out, fold it out, lock it, and then that way you can save space. Oh, those are nice.
let me show
Oh, that looks good. You made that?
I made that, and it's got a UPS in the middle as well, so that the weight is balanced at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I made that out of plywood, and I'm looking at the Maslow. I'm like, that could have cut this whole thing out in like less than a day. I could have done that.
Yep.
All on one sheet of plywood. So.
Well, the good thing that we were talking about earlier, though, is the nice thing is if you know how to do stuff like that before, like there's still a lot of stuff we do by hand initially, just to rapidly get a kind of idea of what we're going to do. And then the machines really just kind of enhance that. So but for you, it's going to be awesome because you already kind of have an idea what you want. And so it'll expedite that and allow you to kind of do stuff you want by hand, and the rest of the stuff, it can automate some of the just tedious stuff.
Right. And some cuts that I can't make, there'd be some cuts that just are, not possible with the tools that I have. I'm looking forward to that. So, and
We've also engraved a bunch of them too, like that table we did that's actually for a friend. We put a Texas star in it. So it just,
are you in Texas?
Yeah, we're in San Antonio.
Okay.
Where are you at?
I'm in Houston.
Oh, okay. You're not far away.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was born in Katy and raised in Katy. So I live right off of I-10 and Fry Road.
Yep. Well, I just moved here for work. I used to live in Minnesota and did a lot of woodworking up there. So,
cool.
But yeah, I've been looking forward to getting one of these. I've been tracking the Maslow since it started, but I'm a Kickstarter junkie. I just, when Kickstarter comes along, I'm just like, take my money, man, take my money.
So did you get the Maslow one, like the regular Maslow? Or did you get
No, I didn't. I watched it. I was looking at it. I was that close, but I just didn't have enough space. And here I don't have enough space either, but I'm going to make some space. I'm going to try, give this a shot. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. So
the way Drew has his is really cool. Like,
so I have my little one over here, but I can't cut like the large things that I want to cut. So I'm actually, I'm getting a shed and I'm building a shed next month. So I can have a full frame in it, and then I'll be able to go out there and have the full frame too. Because it's great. Also my measurements are different. So when I'm trying to help people, I've customized mine. So like I want to know, like I need to have the full like 4x8, and I want to cut full 4x8 stuff too. So I'm really looking forward to having that in the shed and just getting a lot of my stuff that's kind of crammed in this back room in a workspace.
I have a couple of quick questions for you guys, if you don't mind.
Yeah, what's up?
So the 12 inches off the ground, I'm trying to make my frame a little bit shorter because I'm going to put casters on it. Mm-hmm. Can I measure 12 inches off the ground with casters? And I mean, the wood doesn't have to touch the ground or anything. Or could I, if I wanted to make the cart shorter, could I make it, that 1x6, footer? Could I make that either on the ground or just a little bit above the ground?
That's what I did with mine. So with mine, I actually cut mine shorter and then just add a bit of space for the caster. But you can actually, you don't want the carriage to hit the ground when you're cutting, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the big thing is to keep that 15-degree angle and make sure that like when it's mounted, whatever it's mounted on, it's keeping that angle. And then that you have at least 17 inches there on the top of your
17. You said 18 is a good number though, right?
Yeah, like 17, 18. Right around there. Yeah, I'd shoot for like 18 if you can shoot.
Okay, and then 1 inch down on that. So I have a 12 foot or a 10 foot header board, and 1 inch down and 6 inches over because you said Drew found that could get all to the edges and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what, and he's the one that cut that all the way to the edges on his.
Okay.
And I've heard from other people that have been using that too. The chains are just, you can kind of experiment with exactly where those nails go, but they have theirs like all the way in the edge, and it works really well for them.
Okay. Well, the instructions still say like up or down, an inch up or down from the board, but
Yeah,
if
it
I
could be
put
up
it
or
from the, if I put it
Yeah,
from,
and it's better off if you do it a bit inch up. If you do it down, so do it an inch from the top down and not from the bottom up. It
Got
does
it.
work better. And then only do it about 6 inches in. I think the original one was like 12 inches or something like that, and 6
Okay.
inches is way better. Otherwise, you'll get really tight on that.
Okay.
Speaking of set, so that's my outdoor shower I built out of some old pallets.
Nice.
And I bought one of camping heater showers.
Nice.
That's funny. It's really ghetto.
What are you doing out? What are you doing outside? You just gonna go outside, hang out, and smoke?
Yeah, well, we back up to 800 acres of green space. So I
Oh,
built like like we have a campfire out there. So we have commercial up front, we have industrial in back, and then we go all the way to like outdoor in the middle of the woods. So it's kind of a little bit of everything.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah, well, Matt. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the cool stuff that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have fun. Look at those. Look at the forums too. Follow the forums. And the forums they have really good support groups, and the Facebook page is really good if you're on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook, so
you might sign up for Facebook for now. I know they're starting another one. Drew, you're doing this. You're starting this is your thing.
We are going to start another forum. Yeah, so there's the Maslow forum right now that you can find that has lots of projects and stuff on it, the Maslow Garden and stuff. But we're actually going to start one too for people that don't use Facebook, because I don't really use Facebook that much either. And a lot of people don't. We don't want to get rid of the Facebook forum because it's still a place, because that's still a great place for people to go. But we want to have another one that has a lot of support knowledge and just a lot of other information and stuff that's there. So,
okay. Well, that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, you might, even if you just sign up a fake Facebook page or something like that for now, or just like just something on, just so you can. It's a really good one, just to kind of get connected with people too. They have a really good community on there until the new one's fully going.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks, guys. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. I've been building a lot of stuff with lockdown and and being locked up. I've been building stuff in the garage and just going crazy. And I decided it was finally time to go with a Maker Made. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. Build some big stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, if you run into issues, this Thursday meeting's really good. They do a great job of answering questions.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we're always here, and then you can email us to support@makermade.com.
Yep.
And we can get with you, and then and we'll get you going.
Yeah, I was in Minnesota. I was a member of a Makerspace, and so we would do kind of stuff like this, and this kind of screams what that is. I haven't joined up with the Makerspace down here yet, just because of COVID and stuff. I can't get out, but I'm looking forward to that. And if I can make this a mobile rack, maybe I could bring it over to the Makerspace or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, and transport it. And the thing about the M2 too, like it shares all that information on your do board. So if somebody else has a frame, you could just take just your sled and your do board over and plug it in, and you could use their frame or their setup.
That's awesome.
So
okay, great.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun. I think we've ended up with 3 now because so how about the
real quick, are there any tools that I need? I bought a metric tape measure because I didn't have a metric one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Is there any other tools? I saw behind Drew there was a T-square. Do I need like a good T-square or something?
Yes, you definitely want to make sure it's square.
Yeah. You'll need a speed square or a T-square to help square it.
Well, I have speed squares, like little ones, but I was thinking about getting a big one for like sheets of plywood to get those square on the frame or whatever.
I would, because I've made mine unsquare twice.
Okay.
So I was like, crap. So we had to rebuild. Like, if you look, there's a lot of screw holes. I guess it's hard to see, but there's like 12 screw holes in the top because I kept having to tweak it. So yeah, I would definitely do it that way because I didn't use one for the first 2, so it's not a good idea.
Yeah, but all the other stuff should just be basic wood tools that it sounds like you have, like combo wrenches and stuff like that. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited. My dad and I, he always imparted on me. He says, don't worry about the tools. You buy the tools to make the projects, right? So whatever project you want to work on, he always would think of projects so that he'd buy tools.
Yeah, so you can get, because then you don't get excess tools. You just like, you're getting the tool for the project, and it's like, well, sweet, now I have a drill press. You know,
and I called him to ask him about the CNC here. I said, Dad, I'm thinking about buying a CNC. He goes, you called the wrong guy. I said, yes. He said, go get it. I'm like, all right. He's like, you always buy the tool. He's like, don't worry about it, you know? So
that's what's happened. And like for Christmas and stuff like that, for all holidays, stuff like that, like, what do you want? And they're like, a tool.
Yeah.
That's what all this warehouse is actually. So the company's all just my personal maker crap I've been collecting over the years and building for different projects. And so we're like, okay, my wife made me get a building for it. So now we've had to turn it into where it's at least it pays for itself. It has to be somewhat it has to at least be able to sustain itself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I got to go. I got a 12 o'clock meeting, but thanks guys. Thanks for all your help. And I'll try to make more of these. I just ordered it yesterday. So
cool. Well, looking forward to it. Yeah. We'll see you in there. See you, man.
Bye.
Hey, Miles, we're just about to leave, but do you have any questions?
Yeah, actually I guess just one. I'm on the Pacific Coast, so my time zone's a little screwed up. I got my machine set up and it runs really good. It runs really good. I'm making a lot of parts with it. It cuts real square in the middle of the board. Like if I do a 12 by 12, it cuts perfect. Now, when I get up into like the corners, say like a foot in from the left border and, maybe like, a foot down from the top, it starts to cut like a trapezoid at the top and bottom. So the verticals are perfectly square, but the top starts to do this. Is it a measurement on on this that's getting me? Yeah.
Are yours? Do you have yours mounted like this? Are you following where it's down 1 inch and do this because you're probably
not quite. So I've got 15-foot chains and I've got a 12-inch top bar and it's a steel bar, so it's only 2 inches thick instead of that. And I moved the chain up like that because it was hitting. Yeah, it was hitting. Okay. The chain was hitting it coming across. So I moved that up a little bit. Yeah.
I would move it an inch down from the top.
Okay.
And then only about 6 inches over from the edge.
Yeah.
And that made a difference. We were getting a little bit of tension in there. We're getting too much tension. You can see I actually pulled the spring there. It's hard to tell, but
okay.
The spring and yeah, it was getting, as it got to the outside, it was tweaking a little bit and starting to get a little bit there. That made part of it.
Yeah, one of the things too, if you have a 12-foot top beam and a 15-foot chain, you want to have probably at least 24 inches.
Yep, that's why I set up for 24. Yep.
Okay, because that could cause some weird stuff too. If it's basically two right triangles that are kind of going together, and that can cause some weirdness. Another thing is it could be, well, no, that's probably not if it's trapezoid. I was going to say it's probably not your bowed. It's probably not that the wasteboard of the plywood's bowed. If it's doing it on both sides, because if it was doing it on one side, I would say that it could be following the curve.
My wasteboard's built on a steel frame also, because it's actually, I have a steel shop and I actually built everything off the shop wall with its own steel frame to keep everything pretty squared up to itself. I guess the one question I did have though is I was a little confused on measuring motor offset. In the book, it says measure at this 8 p.m. Is it 8 p.m. to the outside of the chain or 8 p.m. to the tooth? Like, it's
sprocket. Yeah, so the outside of the chain and the sprocket is what it measures with. And when it goes across, so it's like 8 to 4 across the top. And something that you could try too, that we're kind of right in the middle of, is upgrading to the newest version of Makerverse. And that has an easier calibration setup, and that's more accurate. So that could help you too. But to do that, you have to flash your firmware. So I'm not sure if you have experience with Arduino before.
No,
but you can flash your firmware, and we're going to be coming out with, so there's written instructions that we have. So if you send us an email, or I can send you the instructions too. If you want to put your email in the private chat or something, I can send them to you. And
that'd be great. I mean, I work for LG Electronics. I spent a lot of time working on complicated computers anyways, so I could probably figure it out. Arduino's a little new to me, but yeah, I'll take this.
You'll be fine then.
It's just flashing.
Yeah,
sure.
It's not
I flash firmware on our stuff all the time, with really wild Korean tools that have no English at all. So
there you go. You'll be fine. Yeah.
I got a question for you real quick, Miles. Then, so if you're doing a lot of metalworking, so I'm gonna go with my metal side of the shop. Hang on. So I've got a Crossfire here. Have you? It's just it's like the Maker Made version of the the plasma version of the Maker
Oh,
Made.
I didn't know Maker Made it's not
They,
Maker
they
Made.
don't, but no, it's not Maker Made. It's like it's by Langmuir. It's trust me, this is like I've had my guys trying to learn it, and one of them is actually his background's programming, and he's like, it's a pain in the ass. They like it's all over the place, but it's cool once you get figured out. But
Sure.
but I like so if you're doing that, like you're building outside a frame, I thought about I really want to turn one instead of a spindle, put a plasma torch. And just because you could, I mean, honestly, because sometimes I don't have to have a monitor table.
As long as it's safe.
It'd be safe.
That'd be the big thing.
It would be safe.
Yeah.
It would
If
be
you're
safe.
water
I mean,
down there,
because you already want to do like on a torch kit, you already want to do a touch start anyways, right?
Yeah.
Where it dips the tip and then rigs the tip up to the cutting height, right? And then which we could do with our Z-axis, right? And then yeah, I mean if you had a steel rig, right, you could totally make it float around like that. You could, you know,
instead of a spindle, all I'm doing is firing a torch.
yeah, I mean
It's a splashback. And honestly, this thing. Sorry.
It'll be cool when we get, I wrote an email earlier this week asking about like when we're gonna do spindle control. Like if you could do just a contact closure for spindle vacuum control, then you could use that to fire off your plasma too. And you need to be really set up.
It does. The M2 has spindle control. Are you on the M2 or the M1?
I'm on an M2, but it has spindle control in the menus, but it does. I guess my hardware or my firmware is not set up for that yet.
Well, unless you're using a spindle, like are you using a spindle or a router?
No.
Yeah, yeah. If you just
so it needs to communicate to it. So that's something that we really want to do too, is have like a spindle and have that spindle control.
So we have communication out from the Arduino that can do spindle control. Like I can't build like a Raspberry or something like that to take that signal.
You don't even need that. So it has PWM. So when you get one thing I want to put on these two is I want to put
anything that reads PWM. I could turn to a contact closure then. There's plenty of devices that do that.
What you'll do is you'll have an output, so it'll go to a speed control box.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like there. And so what I want to do is, so this is a laser for it. But and so yeah, they're working on that. It's,
Drew's helping us prototype it.
Yeah,
nice.
And working through on the laser setup, because that's going to have those type of controls where you can like turn it on and
yeah,
off.
I did. I saw that the JTech laser was a future option. I saw the wiring diagram shows that it will control it with that little terminal block, and that looks cool too. That'd be great.
Because since you're I don't think it'd be an issue either. If I did metal back, and even if I just put a water tray at the bottom, so all the sparks just went down to a little water tray at the bottom. But I don't even need that because I run that other one. I've run that other one plenty of times without water.
I mean, the plasma that's in my shop, I don't have a table plasma. I just use a regular plasma, and I dry cut that thing all day. It creates a lot of. The only issue is, you notice it creates a lot of that like fine metal rust dust, right? Yeah. Which you don't want to breathe a ton of, which is why water tables were so nice. But I mean, yeah, by all means, you could do a vertical. And actually, there was a company that was making a vertically mounted plasma table rig. Like they have controls problems, which is why nobody uses them. But I mean, by all means, you could cut the metal that way. And especially the hardest part we're gonna have though is you're gonna still want to leave tabs, and though you're gonna manually need to cut the tabs with your plasma in hand. Otherwise, the sheet will fall, right? Like that's gonna be
that'd
be kind of difficult because you almost have to like lay it down flat to be able to cut it. Like have a big flat work surface so you could like route those out basically.
Yeah, and if you're doing heavy stuff, like I do a lot of 3/16, and like a 4x8 3/16 is not something you want to muscle up vertically and then down. It's a
we're not doing anything like that. If we're doing stuff like that, it's because I'm building something out back for like a fire pit or something.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, most of our stuff is we do prototyping, but and then nice. I bought some big ass mills. I bought some 12-ton mills from a company that was upgrading. They're 5-axis with auto. Ooh. But yeah, I got moved out here. Finally got them rigged out here, and I found we've got they're 480 200 amp. And, okay. Yeah, but I still have the only thing I've done with this one is I turn it on every now and then, and I jog it because it has a 6,000-pound counterweight in the back, and so it shakes the building. That's the only thing I know how to do with it right now is to jog it in 20-millimeter steps. And so I got to sell those things. So I still haven't used them. There's too big lace, and so if you know anybody wants to move big ass machines, I'll make them a damn good deal. But that's awesome.
So I guess getting back to the question, it's to the outside of the chains, right, for my 4 and 8 o'clock to measure my gap. I'm gonna, I guess I'll write you an email or just write back to the info email and ask for the firmware.
Yeah, and you can add support in there too. So if you want to do
Or
support,
do you want me to just chat you right now?
yeah, you can send me the email and I'll send it to you. Yeah, if you send me a private chat, then I'll get it to you there, and I'll send you the instructions.
And if you're on
But, I mean,
Facebook, there's a really good Facebook forum too. They have a really good
I read
Facebook
a
group.
lot on the Facebook forum because I was having my problem with this trapezoid, and a lot of people were talking about it, and a lot of them were saying it's because you don't have you're not calibrated right, like you didn't measure the change right. A lot of guys were saying, well, we'll change the width like a couple millimeters and see if it cleans it up. Like they're just like random guesses, like just make this adjustment a couple mil and see if it fixes it for you. And I didn't notice it till last night. I did a lot of middle cutting and I was like, this is great. But I made a pocket last night up in the corner so I could put a piece of plexiglass in it and then router my plexiglass, right? Because it's only like an 8x8 square. And when I did that, I went to put the plexiglass square and I'm like, the sides are perfect, but the top and bottom were off like a 1/4 inch. I'm like, man, that's a lot for an 8-inch square to be off that far.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I've been doing right now is actually working on plexi and setting some plexiglass or something. That's funny you say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're too tight because I was having that. We were having that issue, and what it was moving it from the 1 inch from the bottom to 1 inch down from the top and over. And that chain just wasn't getting so tight, even with your 15-foot chains. Especially if it's just like when you get out the last 2 or 3 feet on either side, I feel like you go up and then move the nail or move your pinpoint for your chain in towards the steppers a bit more. And that made a big difference. Like 6 inches away from the edge. And then
I think I'm over 18 inches from the edge because I was unable at 6 inches to get the spring loaded. So should I push them back out and then raise my rig up so I can actually get the spring connected? Because the spring's pretty loose when I'm like up, when the rig's up, the spring actually is all hung down, and then it tightens up when I get to a corner, a bottom corner.
Do you have 15-foot chains?
What?
Do you have 15-foot chains?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
12-foot top bar, 15-foot chains, 24 inches up, and a standard 4x8 board. I just read that the accuracy was better with a 12-foot top rail, so that's why I built that instead.
Yeah, I have 50-foot chains, and I was meaning to put them on weeks ago, and I still haven't got a chance to do that yet. That's what we'll do, the same thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, try moving that chain around and see if that helps. And then checking out that new Makerverse and that calibration procedure, I think that might help you a lot too. Because I've been really impressed with the new version that Chris and the community made on it. It's awesome. So yeah, I'll send you that info because you'll uninstall your old version of Makerverse and then install the new one and then kind of walk through it. So
okay, yeah. So it's a new Makerverse and a new firmware that I got to flash with an Arduino tool, I assume. Yeah. And I'll give me the firmware and then tell me where to find Arduino, or I just go like Google this.
Just go to arduino.cc, and if you just get the Arduino IDE, it's really easy to flash it.
Yeah, it'll have like all the instructions. I have like a whole instruction thing that Joel made that I'll send you. Yeah, and then I'll attach the new user manual too that kind of shows you how to get started with the new version of Makerverse. So.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. And yeah, awesome.
All right. Yeah, you bet.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. See you, Miles. See you, Drew.
Thank you.
See ya.
Yeah.